We're taking a small detour today from our usual series, mainly as I'm on holiday, to take a look at some of the techniques I've used to make some of these builds in a little more detail. What's up everyone, my name's Ollie and welcome to Barely Building. So let's just set the scene of who this video is aimed at. We're focusing on getting started into building a little bigger for those who want to design pretty factories but are unsure how to get started. I follow a few great creators who do highly complex stuff with their builds. I'd highly recommend checking them out, but we keep things simple today. And even in this guide video, let's swing by the community wall, and I've been super excited to reveal this. If you've been wondering what this blank screen was for, Wendolyn has kindly created this amazing centerpiece for the community hub, and it looks awesome. We're 100% carrying this into every save. A ton of new names up here since the last video, almost half full on this wall already. If you want to get yourself up on the wall, just drop a sub on the channel and comment letting me know, and I will get you up here. Thanks for the support, and seeing this room grow has been amazing. So let's get into it. First thing to do when you come to a factory is to decide on the method you're going to use. I have two mindsets. I have a vision, let's just execute it, and I have no idea what I'm doing, let's sketch and see what happens. First way is a little bit easier and quicker. Things tend to move faster when you know what you want. The second can take a bit more time, but does tend to lead to a bit more creativity. Just be prepared to tear things down. The next is space. My advice would be to build your machines before you build your factory. Space in this game is incredibly hard to judge. Things are significantly bigger than what you'd think they were. I suggest building the machines nice and spaced out, just up on floated platforms for now. Get everything done and then come to design. Now let's talk a little bit about depth. A flat factory wall is just not interesting. Satisfactory has some beautiful lighting, and by adding some depth, you can really make these buildings look good. One technique, if you are using walls to go around your factory, just take a small concrete pillar, nudge that halfway inside the wall, and zoop that up. It's a good way to add a little bit of depth, especially if you paint it into a different color. But my preferred method is to use foundations. This way we can easily create 3 layers of depth. If we remove a section from the center of the wall, now we can simply place a wall or a half foundation halfway down inside the foundations. That gives us 2 layers of depth. Now we can take the same design we did last time, run that up. Now this factory has 3 layers of depth. Before we start talking about color, a member of the Satisfactory community called Rice worded this perfectly. 3 depths, 3 colors, 3 materials, 3 heights. A general rule to follow to make interesting looking buildings. So since we have our depths, let's sort out some colors to go along with this. Maybe for the wall, we take the Barely Building blue. For the pillars, take a darker color for the silver. Maybe for the walls, we use some white. Now we're starting to get some extra color in here. Maybe next to that, we have like a double width section. And here we can stick in some windows, frame that in our pillars. You see here, we've got a really nice factory wall in progress. There is an entire science to choosing colors, which I'm only very recently learning about. There's some incredibly talented people in our Discord server, so if you want to hop in there for advice, feel free. But for now, we'll stick with this color scheme as we move on to decorating the factory itself. So let's make a start. Let's just frame this in our foundations. We have a double width section and a single width section, and my general rule of thumb is I will count the foundations along the bottom. If we have an odd number, I will start from the center with a single piece. If it was to be an even number, I would start with a double piece. So let's copy our design into here. And let's see how we transition this back to move up into another floor. I'm going to take this strip of foundation out. I'm going to grab another one of our white ones. I'm going to nudge that back just 1 foundation's width. Zoom that up as high as I want it to go. We'll leave 2 foundations, 1 for the roof to connect to, and a blank one to start the design for the next floor. So we'll just simply remove 2 out this time. Just run the pillars up from the bottom. We're going to hide this with the roof anyway. Let's maybe use a 4-meter tar roof, just because it kind of matches the design a little bit here. Now let's talk about our next step, which is connecting pillars. Looks a bit strange having this gap here in the roof. I mean, you could go with it. It's not too bad. But let's say we want to connect this up. And it's as simple as this. Take a beam, place that into freeform, and run that along the angle of the roof. You want to make sure you can see an even amount of beam. Once you've got that, place it. Now take your pillar, lock this to the end of the beam with H, nudge along 4 times and down once, and then zoom that into the building. Remove your painted beam, and now you have this nice, perfectly joined up pillar. Next, let's take a look at some tricks with signs. We can use signs as lights on the side of our building, and maybe we want to follow this line all the way up to the top. So first, place the sign. Set the layout to text only and remove the text. Choose your color. We'll go with the barely building blue. Set to 3 and set to glossy. And then you get this nice glowing sign. At 1.2 did add zoom mode, so we could just zoom this up. But when you do that, you do get this connection between the signs. My preferred method is to take the sign, lock it and nudge it down 1. Keep doing that all the way up the pillar. And now you get a nice light strip with no joins. We can carry that up the centerpiece if we want to. And with that all done, let's talk a little bit about shape. Square blocks are boring, but we've built this factory in kind of an L shape like this. It's going to make much more interesting. Try to avoid complete blocks where you can. They're very hard to decorate and very hard to make look good. So to help us fill in this last bit of shape, I'm going to show you a mod that I use that helps me really speed up my builds. The quick blueprinter tool, as well as the infinite dismantle tool. So what we can now do is we can make blueprints of each section that we've got here. So let's start with our double section. First, we need to lock in the first item. That's going to lock the rotation for the whole blueprint. Next, just start selecting everything you want involved in your blueprint. We can take all these pillars, all these signs, the windows, everything. There's a good chance you'll miss something. It takes a bit of practice and getting used to. With that selected, we can press B. Call this double segment. Let's do the same with the single piece. Call this single segment. And now we can do the same with a blank piece, which is as simple as selecting this. We'll call this blank segment. So now when we come round, let's count how wide this wall is going to be, which is 6. So let's maybe just place a double segment straight in the center here. We'll nudge it out so that it lines up with this wall here, just for when we join it all up. Check it's dead on the floor. There we go. That's exactly where that goes. And then on either side of that, we can place our blank segment. Just check that's all lined up. Let's maybe take a double segment again. Connect this up. And we're just going to keep going with this as we work around the build. And as quick as that, we can get a really nice factory placed down very quickly. Like I said, we missed a couple. It's worth just double checking you've got everything you needed to included in the blueprint. See, breaking away from a standard square shape has really made this building look quite interesting. So we can fill in these blank slots that we missed. I'm just going to burn through decorating the rest of this factory. We'll speed it up. You can just sort of see how we're going to finish this off. It's much of the same technique, so feel free to skip ahead. The last little tip is just to use the tools that the games give you. We can accent this place with some vents, maybe paint them in. They do look really, really cool. And I hope this gives you a little bit of insight into how I start going about decorating a factory. You don't have to do a great deal just to make them look good. And this is, I think, a perfectly respectable factory. You can take all these techniques, you can apply them in any number of ways. Just get really creative with it. Just remember the rule of 3 and you'll thrive. And that is it for today. I hope you found this video a good insight into getting started. Next time we'll be back to the regular series. Until then, guys, I will see you in the next one.